I want to, in this video, show you how to download, install, and use Lean and the project PhysLean. So I'm here on a new computer, and it is managed by my university. So I don't have administration permissions on this computer. So I kind of want to show you how you can download and install Lean on such a device, but this should hold generically true for any such computer or for any computer that is a Mac. And I think a lot of what I'm going to say will also hold true generally. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to download this thing called Visual Studio Code. So we're going to go into Google and we're going to find Visual Studio Code. I also apologize in advance. I have a bit of a cold, so I'm sorry if I sound a bit congested. I'm not sure that's the right word, but you hopefully know what I mean. So we're going to download this. We're going to download to Mac OS, and this is going to come down into this downloads file down here. And I'm going to place this into my document folder. I could try and place it in my application folder. We can see what happens if I do that. It says, okay, it says I need administration passwords. I don't have administration passwords, so I'm going to have to download it into my local folder. So I'm going to place it there. Let's place it up there. But I'm also, because I use Visual Studio quite often, I'm also going to place it down in my dock. Great, so that's the first thing that we want to do. So then we're going to open Visual Studio Code. Am I sure I want to open it? Yes, I am. I know I can trust this code. We get a version note, we can delete that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log in on my GitHub account, because Visual Code is related to GitHub. So what this has done, this has opened Visual Studio Code here, and I have GitHub saved here. I sign in, I have a passcode, so actually I'm not going to be able to do that, so I'm going to have to use GitHub Mobile. And bear with me 1 second when I authenticate this on my mobile. It doesn't really matter that you see this code, it's just a code that I need to put in. It's part of the two-factor authentication. So I have now gone to my phone and I have signed in. Okay, and I want to continue with signing in as me. And that should hopefully log into Visual Studio Code for me, which is good because I pay for GitHub Copilot. Do I want you to allow networks? If I can allow you, I will. Yeah, so I pay for GitHub Copilot, which is this helps you write code basically. So it's kind of worth having me signing in for this. So the next thing we want to do is we want to add an extension. So we're going to go over here to extensions, and the extension we want is called Lean4. So we're going to take this top one and we are going to install it. I trust the publishers and I want to install this. Great. So let's do this. So we don't want to look at the documentation. We want to install Lean. So we're going to basically work through these steps. So we're going to install Lean. We're going to proceed. And this is hopefully going to install ELAN, which is, yeah, as it says here, the version management system. And it's going to install Apple command line tools. And these command line tools are kind of what you use to build Lean. They are what you use to work with Lean. Yeah, so hopefully this is going to work. It might take a little while. I think we're going to skip these 2 points because we're going to specifically go and download and work with PhysLean. So to do that, there's something else we need to do. We need to get, and that is going to be GitHub Desktop. So you don't need GitHub Desktop, but I find it to be the much easier way to work with GitHub on a computer. I have an Apple Silicon, so I'm going to download this, and basically we're going to do the same thing. So it's going to download it here into this downloads folder. You might have to find it depending on your configuration. And then again, I'm going to place it in my documents file. I can't put it, unfortunately, in my applications because you need permissions to do that. And then because I use it regularly, let me put it down here. Ooh, will it let me do that? There we go. Okay, so let's just go back onto GitHub Desktop. Let's open GitHub Desktop. Am I sure that I want to open it? Yes, I am. And then again, I need to sign in with GitHub. And then hopefully I won't have to do this again. Awesome. let's do that. Finish. Move GitHub desktop to the application folder. This was problem with the app impeding your ability to sign in. Let's try move. Again, I can't do that. So let's just hope that this is not going to work. Okay, so let me come back to that in a second. Let me go back to Visual Studios and let's see how well this has done in terms of downloading. So we're still going. So in the meantime, let's go back to GitHub Copilot. Sorry, GitHub Desktop. And we are going to clone a repository from the internet, and we're going to search for a repository. Well, let me show you how you do this properly. So you come over to PhysLean. So you come over to the PhysLean GitHub page. I think we can just copy this URL. We can go URL. We can go like here, and this is going to clone this to this file here. So let's click clone. So yeah, so basically we went, yeah, okay. I'm getting myself in the muddle here. Great, so now we've got PhysLean downloaded on our computer, and if we come over to documents like this, you'll see now I've now got a folder called GitHub, I've now got a folder called PhysLean, and this is PhysLean downloaded onto this computer. Great, and I think we need to come back over here. So do we want Lean's version master Elan to download and install versions of Lean automatically? Yeah, go on. We want that to happen. So we clicked yes, and good. We are good to go. So let me now close Visual Studios, and then I'm going to open it again, and I am going to open a folder, and the folder I'm going to open is in Documents. It's GitHub, and it's this one here. Ooh, and I click Open now, and then Visual Studios will like access to the document folder. Yes. Do I trust its authors? Yes. Okay, now we have Lean. We now have PhysLean and we have Lean installed. We now need to build PhysLean. So I'm going to come and open a terminal down here. And the first thing I'm going to run is lake execute cache get. And let's hope this works. Okay, this is works. So what this is doing now, this is downloading all of the dependencies that we need for PhysLean. So this is downloading things like mathlib, things like the documentation generator. Depending on your internet connection, this might take a while to work, and also depending on your computer speed. So this is not currently building the project, but this is kind of downloading or getting a cache of all of the folders from mathlib that have been built on the internet. So as you can see here, so this is downloading mathlib. As we wait for that to be done, let me show you kind of the structure of PhysLean. So we have all of these PhysLean folders here. We can go look at the classical harmonic oscillator. We get this thing here, and this kind of like for sign is kind of where you're going to see things related to PhysLean. And as you can see, related to Lean. As you can see, we've got this Lean infographic view here. So let me try and restart this file. Let's see what happens. I get this error, which is an error related to the internet. I think hopefully we can just ignore that for now, but let me just do lake build and let's see what happens. Okay, so this is building PhysLean. It's actually building mathlib, so I don't want it to be building mathlib right now, and as you can see up here, it's also building mathlib. So I'm going to press Control C, and I'm going to do lake execute cache get again. We might have to do some troubleshooting. I'm going to leave this in the video because I think it's important that you may also run into troubleshoot issues, so we can try and work it out together. Let me close. Let's see if I can stop this. I'm going to close this file just because I don't want to have two things running in one go. Okay, so we're getting something we didn't see before, which is a good sign. And now look, you can see it's downloading Mathlib, I don't know why I had to do this twice. Maybe it was an internet thing. But hopefully this should work, and hopefully it means we won't have to build Mathlib again. You could tell if you've downloaded the cache properly, because if you haven't, it was going to start building the files for Mathlib, and you don't want that to happen. So when we do lake execute build, or just lake build, as I'm going to do now, we should just be building files from PhysLean, which we are. So let's just ignore this warning. I don't know why we're getting that. But yeah, so you can see now we're just building files from PhysLean, which means we have downloaded the cache properly. And again, let me open this file here. I keep my info viewer to my right, like this. And that should kind of be it. So so this is kind of, now you've got PhysLean downloaded, you can start to explore it with the info viewer, which kind of shows your way through the goals. I'm not going to kind of show you the basics of PhysLean or of Lean. It's probably best for another video, but hopefully, this has showed you how to install things. The last thing I will do is kind of show you how you would use GitHub Copilot. I mean, so you would actually probably have to fork PhysLean to do this. So you'd have to make a fork of a fork of PhysLean, and then you would have to make the sorts of changes that you could make on GitHub Copilot on PhysLean. But let me not show you that. This video is kind of somewhat unplanned, so let me stop there, because I think that shows you how to download Lean, how to install PhysLean on a computer which is university managed. So I didn't need any admin rights to do this. The project is built in. Yeah, let me make sure it's built, and let me go to a file. Let's try and find a file that has already been built. Probably, let's get space. Let's go to space basic. This may not have been built yet because it requires a lot of dependencies. Yep, so not quite. So let's go to okay, a simple file would be one of the meta files. The to list file almost certainly has been built. Let's restart the file, see what happens. Awesome, cool. So this is now built. So you can see that this kind of like yellow bar that we had on the side of the screen. I'll show you, this kind of bar here has disappeared, or it's gone down the screen. You'll see it shoot down the screen in a second, and this is to state that everything in this file is being built. And then you can explore the sorts of things that are happening. I don't know why we're not seeing anything though. Maybe there's nothing to see here. Yeah, cool. There's nothing to see. So now we're seeing sort of like expected types and stuff. And in proofs, we should start to see this file has now built. We should start to see our tactic state and the sorts of things that help you prove things in PhysLean. So this depending on your computer, this might take a long time to build, or it might be very quick to build. I think it takes anywhere between like 5 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on the speed of your computer. I think I've got a Mac with an M4 chip, which has got quite high RAM. So hopefully this shouldn't take me too long. I won't, record this video to the end unless it just happens to finish when I'm talking. But yeah, don't be worried if this takes a long time to work. If you're seeing something that looks weird here, the thing that I would recommend is coming to the PhysLean website, coming down to installing, and there should be something on troubleshooting. So there is this thing here. So in the worst case scenario, if everything breaks, just run this. So this basically resets your Lean project, and it basically starts again. So worst case scenario, if everything seems broken with Lean, just do this in the project, and yeah, then that should sort stuff out. So hopefully this video has been useful. I'm not going to go over how to make a pull request. I kind of said I was, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, and hopefully, contribute to PhysLean, add informal MS, add informal definitions. This has been an installation of Visual Studio, GitHub Copilot, and PhysLean, and hopefully it has been useful. So thank you for watching.